Greetings Opals users. In this tutorial, I'd like to show how to add item types to your equipment module, as well as adding individual pieces of equipment. Before I continue, I'd like to mention that if you need some assistance, please call 877-331-1022 and ask for tech support, or email support@opalsinfo.net. With regard to item types in the equipment module, I'm going to go to Administration, Preferences, and over here on the far left I will go to Item Types. I'm going to click Equipment and Display so I can see the item types under the equipment category. And you'll see that I have Chromebooks, a cart, hotspots, iPad. I could add another item type, such as a charger or a whiteboard. I'll add a whiteboard. Okay, and this is where you can say how long a teacher or whomever gets the whiteboard or the Chromebook or the iPad out. Oftentimes in a school, you'll see 200 days or more, as the students will borrow a Chromebook or this or that for the entire school year. I'm going to save the whiteboard, and I will now do another look at the equipment, and I'll click Display. And now we see the Chromebooks, cart, and the whiteboard at the bottom. This will give you a more granular approach to your equipment database, as well as having different loan periods for different types of equipment. For example, the Chromebooks go out for 200 days. This is a test database, so ignore the renewals. But like I said earlier, oftentimes students will take something out for the entire school year, or in some cases for 4 years. If they're in the high school or a middle school or something like that, they may have the piece of equipment through their tenure at the school. There's hotspots, iPad, and the whiteboard. You could add Chromebook chargers, power cords, etc. Cameras, things like that you could add onto the item types under the equipment module, so that again, so you have a granular approach. And if you're going to be adding pieces of equipment, you might like to have these added first, so when I show you in a minute how to add individual pieces of equipment, I can choose which item type I'm using in the equipment module. Now I'd like to add some equipment. I'm going to Equipment, Add New, and I'm going to put in iPad, and I'll put in number 1. We recommend that you put in each piece of equipment individually, as opposed to, say, the library situation where you have one MARC bibliographic record for a book and 5 holdings. We have found that it's easier to manage your equipment database if each piece is in individually. In another video on our YouTube channel, I show how to import a CSV equipment data sheet so that all your equipment can go in all at once, which eliminates having to put in each piece at a time. But throughout a school year or whatever, you may have the need to put in something new that you don't have an importable sheet for. So I'm putting in iPad number 1. I could put general accessory notes. Includes a cord. I could put in the manufacturer, the URL, the model number. I'll put it MK3. If there's an online manual, a supplier URL, any warranty notes. And in another video, I show how to manage carts. I'm not going to check this. I'm just adding my iPads at this point. So I've got iPad number 1, includes a cord. iPad MK3 is the model. Now I'm going to the holding record. The starting barcode will be iPad 1. And I'm only going to add the one item here, and here is the item types that we just spoke about. I'm going to choose the iPad item type. You'll see that all my item types are listed here. If you're adding something and it's not here, you would have to go back to Administration, Preferences, Item Types, and add another item type. I'm going to choose iPad. I don't have a serial number. I could put a price in. I'll put a price in of $250. I could have an item designation, a funding source, a location in the building. I'll put in library. A building code, a district code, the date you acquired it, any status notes, the vendor from whom the school or your IT department got it from, an assigned person's first name. So if all faculty, say, were to get an iPad, you could put in each faculty member's name here that would be assigned to them. There's a PO number option, IP address, cart number, slot number in the cart, etc. That will be on another video, how to manage a cart. So I've got my iPad 1, number of items 1, iPad is the item type, the price is $250 and it's in the library. Alright, now I'm going to save the record. And now you'll see that we have the iPad 1, it's an iPad item type, the price, and it's in the library. Any other information would be right here as well. I'm going to add one more. Add new. I will put in iPad number 2, includes cord, and the model number is iPad MK3. It's not a cart or a container, and that will be a separate video how to manage that. I'll go to the iPad holding record here, and I'm going to put in iPad 2, number of items 1, item type iPad, and again here's the serial number, the price. I'll put in $250 as I did for the last one. By the way, I'm going to mention again that as you're putting these in, if you have, say, 50, it might be good to get a CSV file and watch the video of importing equipment records from a CSV file. This is typically used for small amounts of equipment, but the CSV file could bring in 100 iPads all at once. Okay, location and building, I'll put library again. Alright, so we've got 2 iPads in right now, and I'm going to save it. I'll do one more. I know of a school that got 75 ukuleles through a grant, so I'm going to add a ukulele. Equipment, add new, ukulele, oops, spelling, sorry about that, and the model number is Martin U3. Okay, it'll include a strap. There we go. So I could put the manufacturer and fill all these fields out. I just won't do that for now. I'll go right to the holding record, and I'm going to have a problem, and I did this on purpose. Starting barcode might be U1 for ukulele, number of items, but here we go where I don't have ukulele on my list. Okay, and that is a common error that people have. They forget to put another item type on. So I'm going to kill this. I'm going to just ignore this record, not save it, go back to Administration, back to Preferences, back to Item Types and Preferences. I will display equipment, and I'll add a ukulele. Add a new item type. I'm sure I spelled it wrong again. There we go. And this again is where you can stipulate how long the ukuleles would go out to students, teachers, staff, or whatever user type you have. I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm saving it. So now I'm going to go back. Let's just have a look at it again. I'll go to the bottom here, and there we see the ukulele. And by the way, you'll see that there's nothing there yet. There's nothing here yet. Okay, But you will see my 2 iPads are listed right here as 2 iPads in the number of items. Okay, so now I'm going to go back up to the top, Equipment, Add New, and I have to restart this adding of the ukuleles because I didn't have the item type set up beforehand. I'm pasting in ukulele. It's a Martin U3, and I will go right to the holding record, and I will use U1 as a barcode, number of items is 1, item type, type ID, there's my ukulele. I could put a serial number in, a price, of $400 for the ukulele, and the item designation or the funding source location and building, music room. And again, all these fields could be filled out as you like. I'm going to save it. And now we have my barcode U1, ukulele, location and building, and the price. So that is how you can add items to your equipment database without using an imported file. Once again, an imported file could add many items all at once, but if you're only adding a few as the year goes on, you could just go ahead and add new and add individual items need be. I hope this video helps. All the best.